Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I offer my humble obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayed. Before reciting Srimad Bhagvatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagvatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in the classes on Srimad Bhagvatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the Personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Granth Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 7, Chapter 8 now. We just completed Chapter 7 yesterday. What Prahlad learned in the womb of his mother Kayadu. So now he has given wonderful instructions to his demoniac friends, and the conclusion was to render devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, because life is short and time is running, and so better early. So let's read the next chapter. I'll start with the summary. Lord Nrsimhadev slays the king of the demons. As described in this chapter, Hiranyakashipu was ready to kill his own son Prahlad Maharaj. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared in the front of the demon as Sri Nrikeshari, half lion, half man, and killed him. Following the instructions of Prahlad Maharaj, all the sons of the demons became attached to Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When this attachment became pronounced, their teachers, Sanda and Amarka, were very much afraid that the boys would become more and more devoted to the Lord. In a helpless condition, they approached Hiranyakashipu and described in detail the effect of Prahlad's preaching. After hearing of this, Hiranyakashipu decided to kill his own son Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu was so angry that Prahlad Maharaj fell down at his feet and said many things just to pacify him, but he was unsuccessful in satisfying his demoniac father. Hiranyakashipu, as a typical demon, began to advertise himself as being greater than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Prahlad Maharaj challenged him, saying that Hiranyakashipu was not God, and began to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, declaring that the Lord is all-pervading, and that everything is under him, and no one is equal to or greater than him. Thus he requested his father to be submissive to the omnipotent Supreme Lord. The more Prahlad Maharaj glorified the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the more angry and agitated the demon became. Hiranyakashipu asked his Vaishnava son whether his God existed within the columns of the palace, and Prahlad Maharaj immediately accepted and that since the Lord is present everywhere, he was also present within the columns. When Hiranyakashipu heard this philosophy from his young son, he derided the boy's statement as just the talk of a child and forcefully struck the pillar with his fist. As soon as Hiranyakashipu struck the column, there issued forth a tumultuous sound. At first Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demons, could not see anything but the pillar. But to substantiate Prahlad's statements, the Lord came out of the pillar in his wonderful incarnation as Nrsimha, half lion and half man. Hiranyakashipu could immediately understand that the extraordinarily wonderful form of the Lord was surely meant for his death, and thus he prepared to fight with the form of half lion and half man. The Lord performed his pastimes by fighting with the demon for some time, and in the evening, on the border between day and night, the Lord captured the demon, threw him on his lap, and killed him by piercing his abdomen with his nails. The Lord not only killed Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demons, but also killed many of his followers. When there was no one else to fight, the Lord, roaring with anger, sat down on Hiranyakashipu's throne. The entire universe was thus relieved of the rule of Hiranyakashipu, and everyone was jubilant in transcendental bliss. When all the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, approached the Lord, these included the great saintly persons, the Pittas, the Siddhas, the Vidyadharas, the Nagas, the Manus, the Prajapatis, the Gandharvas, the Charanas, the Yakshas, the Kim Purushas, the Vaitalikas, the Kinnaras and also many other varieties of beings in the human form. All of them stood not far from the Supreme Personality of Godhead and began offering their prayers unto the Lord, whose spiritual effulgence was brilliant as he sat on the throne. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear Vaishnavas, for joining. So this is a wonderful summary of chapter 8, and we will see how the fight between Hiranyakashipu and Nrsimhadev, how Nrsimhadev appears, and how the demon was killed. So the demoniac person wants to always be envious of the Lord and fight him, because this is because of the envy that one cannot accept the supremacy or authority of the other, or think that someone else can be better than me. So this is all Hiranyakashipu's envy which led to his destruction. So not going in the detail, because we will be studying in detail every verse. So I think we should start from text number 1. Would someone like to read, please? Who didn't get chance yesterday? Srivilas Prabhu, you want to start?
Yes, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam everyone. Thank you very much. Text 1. Sri Narada Uvacha Ata Daitya Sutta Sarve Shrutva Tad Anuvarnitam Jagrur Niravadyatvan Naiva Gurva Nusikshitam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Narada Muni continued. All the sons of the demons appreciated the transcendental instructions of Prahlad Maharaj and took them very seriously. They rejected the materialistic instruction given by their teachers Sanda and Amarka. Purport. This is the effect of preaching of a pure devotee like Prahlad Maharaj. If a devotee is qualified, sincere and serious about Krishna consciousness, and if he follows the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master, as Prahlad Maharaj did when preaching the instructions he had received from Narada Muni, his preaching is effective. As it is said in Srimad Bhagvatam 3.25, Satam prasadna mama virya samvido bhavanti hrit karna rasayana katha. If one tries to understand the discourses given by the Sat or pure devotees, those instructions will be very pleasing to the ear and appealing to the heart. Thus, if one is inspired to take to Krishna consciousness, and if one practices the process in his life, he is surely successful in returning home back to Godhead. By the grace of Prahlad Maharaja, all his class friends, the sons of demons, became Vaishnavas. They did not like hearing from their so-called teachers Sanda and Amarka, who were interested only in teaching them about diplomacy, politics, economic development, and similar topics meant exclusively for sense gratification. So this beautiful verse is telling us about the transformation of the Asura's kids who were going to the same class as Prahlad Maharaj. And we can see what a pure soul Prahlad Maharaj is. He's clearly one of the 12 Mahajans, and we have the association of a pure devotee. It really transforms our heart and consciousness to serve the Lord and become a great devotee. We can see that in Srila Prabhupada, who came to the U.S. where there was a hippie movement going, and he turned all the hippies into happies. And when he went back to India, when they were asked what is the miracle he performed, he said, transforming the heart of these people who are in a materialistic life is the miracle. So we see here how Prahlad Maharaj is also doing that big miracle of actually changing the heart of Asuras who are so much in materialistic consciousness, and they understood because of the conviction, seriousness, and the qualification of Prahlad Maharaj. They were able to understand the message, and they took the message seriously, and they started following the instructions of Prahlad Maharaj. So it is a great fortune for us to associate with Srila Prabhupada's instructions, and we should always try to get the association of devotees so that we can also get inspired and follow like these like classmates who are following the right instructions instead of the wrong instructions being given by Sanda and Amarka. Thank you, Prabhuji. Please add or correct.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I like the two lessons which here, the secret of effective preaching, which is actually the task for every devotee. What is the secret? One's own sincerity and seriousness in following Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada is writing, if we are sincere and we are seriously following, then if we are speaking something that will have value, otherwise it will, it is like beating the empty husk. There is no substance. And one other secret is following the instructions of bona fide spiritual master, like Prahlad was following Narada Muni, and we have been blessed to be in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara. So that will make the preaching effective. Not the number of shlokas we know, not the PowerPoints, not the austerity. One's sincerity and seriousness. How sincerely is one following oneself? That will make it effective. Acharan chariti iti acharya. Preaching is by example. And Prahlad Maharaj, age is not the criteria. Prahlad Maharaj was their equal age. But he had that seriousness and sincerity, and he was following Narada Muni. Therefore, it was very effective. On the contrary, Sanda and Amarka were very learned so-called Brahmanas of Shukracharya. They were quite learned. But they are said to be here as so-called gurus. Now, the other lesson, as a disciple, when it comes to Krishna consciousness, one may have learned in the past from so-called teachers who may themselves not be following correctly, who are, in India, so many, on the name of religion, so many, Baba, so many this. Majority of them don't follow these principles, accepting the instructions of bona fide spiritual master and sincerity and seriousness about Krishna consciousness. There are different qualifications of Guru, which is a different big topic, but majority of them don't follow. Very, very few rare, pure souls are there who are actual teachers. So one should not be attached that the students here, the demoniac friends of Prahlad are showing that one should not be attached to the so-called teacher. Oh, I learned this in my childhood from my so-called teacher. I have been learning this for last 10 years or 20 years. If one gets the pure message of unalloyed bhakti, that is the topmost. So one should, so the lessons on both sides, I feel. Very, very nice verse. Anyone has any other comments or questions? Okay, let's read the next verse. Sudhir Prabhu, you want to read? Sundari Priya Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Text 2. Athacharya sutaste sam buddhim ekanta samsthitam alakshya bhitastvarito rajana avedayat yatha. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. When Sanda and Amarka, the sons of Sukracharya, observed that all the students, the sons of the demons, were becoming advanced in Krishna consciousness because of the association of Prahlad Maharaj, they were afraid. They approached the king of the demons and described the situation as it was. Purport. The words Buddhim ekanta samschitam indicate that as an effect of Prahlad Maharaj's preaching, the students who listened to him became fixed in the conclusion that Krishna consciousness is the only object of human life. The fact is that anyone who associates with a pure devotee and follows his instructions becomes fixed in Krishna consciousness and is not disturbed by materialistic consciousness. The teachers particularly observed this in their students, and therefore they were afraid, and because the whole community of students was gradually becoming Krishna consciousness. Hari Bol. So here we see that the teachers, Sanda and Amarka, they themselves were actually baffled by this whole thing, and they noticed that whatever Prahlad Maharaj was teaching, the demonic friends were actually getting affected by it, and they were quite afraid. Actually, earlier they did, they thought they all could control the situation, but this was beyond control. And then they went back to Hiranyakashipu to describe what is going on. And Srila Prabhupada beautifully explains that there are a couple of things here that if why Prahlad Maharaj's preaching was so effective is because he was a pure devotee of the Lord. Krishna consciousness is like that. If a pure devotee gives instructions to anybody, that gets completely, you get completely absorbed by that, because he is so, he's walking the talk, so, and basically his words, thoughts, actions, everything are aligned, and a pure devotee knows exactly that he has no inhibitions. That's why even when we see Srila Prabhupada's example, so many hippies, they had never heard of Krishna. They were all intoxicated. How can one take out such people from such a deep ignorance? It's the mercy of pure devotee. We see so many people got got follow. Even now we have so many amazing leaders. I was listening to Yamuna Mataji's story, and all of we have so much to look forward to. And in that lecture, they were saying that Yamuna Mataji and Guru Das Prabhu and initial devotees, 6 of them, in manner. Srila Prabhupada said, you are going to go set up the whole temple there, and you're the front face of Krishna consciousness. And they were themselves not sure what we are doing, but Krishna knew, and Srila Prabhupada knew that they will be the front charge. And Yamuna Mataji and her husband, they were in Vrindavan, a Vrindavan that was so dear to Srila Prabhupada, and they gave them the in charge of making the Krishna Balram temple there. So these kind of things can happen to anybody. So what to talk of demonic people? They have hope. The students were so they all came from a demonic background, and the Prahlad Maharaj's teachings were so pure that they were able to affect. One lecture I heard, it said that when a lady puts a perfume, she is her only aim is to attract her beloved, but that perfume gets wherever she goes, that perfume is smelled by those are in the path of it, but her perfume is for the beloved. So similarly, when a pure devotee even touches anybody, even glances mercifully at them, they have a transformation of heart, and that's what happened here. So that's my understanding. Prabhuji, please add or correct.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So, the power of association of devotee is shared here. And if we go back to chapter 5, how this whole thing started. Sanda and Amarka had gone to, their home to do some household affairs. Text number 51 of chapter 54 says that teachers went to attend their household affairs. And of course, not that the time frame is not mentioned, but it would not be wrong to say that they went for little time. They were not out for days or weeks or months or years. Probably they went out and they left the Gurukul for some time. And in that little time, Prahlad took it as an opportunity, which shows that same famous verse about Sadhu Sangha, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hoy. The teachers were teaching Sanda and Amarka were teaching the demoniac students for many, many years. The words used were incessant. When the last time when Hiranyakashipu tried to kill, the words used were that were trying to teach Prahlad, and along with him others also incessantly. That means months, years they were teaching Prahlad. But now little opportunity, that years of bad thoughts or bad teachings by little association of pure devotee like Prahlad Maharaj, and hearing his instructions and seriously following, not just hearing. In the last verse we read, they took them very seriously. So the pure devotee may give instructions, Prabhupada may give instructions, Prabhupada's books are there for everyone, but very few take them very seriously. And depending upon the degree who takes them to what seriousness, the result is also proportionate. So now the teachers came back and they said, what a mess going on, because according to them it was totally topsy-turvy. They wanted to convert Prahlad to demoniac thoughts. On the contrary, all the other students were also spoiled now. So they were completely, afraid of this. Why they were afraid? Because Hiranyakashipu, they know Hiranyakashipu sent them to convert Prahlad. Now the whole community is spoiled. So that's the power of association. Prabhupada is writing, anyone who associates with a pure devotee and follows his instructions becomes fixed in Krishna consciousness and not disturbed by material consciousness. Such a beautiful line. Because in this day and age, so much stress going on. People who don't have any other shelter are so stressed. What will happen to us? What will Corona do? What will happen to my family? There's very little in our control, and we should do that. But beyond that, watching the news every day, 5 times a day, what will it do? Nothing. Because of not having a higher consciousness and so absorbed in material consciousness, which always leads to disturbance. There is stress, there is depression. So many famous people committing suicides. I recently, read a couple of articles. One, TV actor committing suicide in Mumbai. You may have seen the young, beautiful 25-year-old girl who was a TV star in multiple shows. She committed suicide in just like a couple of days back because of not having higher Krishna consciousness. Another person, newspapers and news is full of all this suicide and killing each other and so many problems. So association is very, very powerful. Any other comments or questions anyone has?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Thank you. This is Bhadra. Dandvat everybody. From these 2 slokas, you explain everything, most of the points. The point is that just like Prahlad Maharaj, he was sold out to the instruction of the Narad Muni, and we heard about whole his life, how he was. Even the Krishna used to come and he would laugh, and Krishna go away, he would cry. And Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the purports about the instruction of the spiritual master. And if he just follow that instructions, as mentioned already, sincerely and seriously, then with the instruction of the spiritual master, the power also comes with that instruction. But it's a question of following it. That's the point. And we see from as Mataji told about Jamuna Mataji and all that, the reason they could do it, because we have to understand that it's easy for me to say, but its realizations is the main thing. The point is that they were completely sold out. They were completely sold out to Prabhupada. These devotees, they didn't even think twice. When Srila Prabhupada said something, they didn't think twice. They just went. See. Now another point is that all these devotees who took up Krishna consciousness seriously, because they were starting from the 0 point, from the point 1, while we as Indians, and I'm putting, I don't know how many are in the Indians in this audience when we are talking, we have come with some, I wouldn't say garbage. I wouldn't say garbage, but we have come with the preconception in our life with our families, worshipping and all that. So when we come to Krishna consciousness, we have that carried with us. Sometimes misconception, or not misconception, but something which we have learned from our parents, our families, our relatives for worshipping the Lords, and we carry that. Then here the point is, these devotees, they were like from the point 1 to start. You see, so for us, and I particularly putting myself, for me, I have to completely go at the one level to start and follow the instruction. Of course, it helps if I was following, if I had my family relatives were following the same path which is given here, then of course that is enhancing. It will help me to progress. But if we have come with all the preconception in Krishna consciousness, then it becomes then it little bit require more work, because different sampradayas, different way to follow. So that makes a big difference. So these are the points here Srila Prabhupada is mentioning. And as you mentioned it, that Srila Prabhupada we know how Srila Prabhupada, now we cannot, let's put that, we cannot jump on the instruction is given by spiritual master, and that spiritual master instruction is there. Now sometimes we will not able to do it right away. Basic instruction is there, following 4 regular principles, chanting 16 rounds. But if there is specific instruction is given to me or anybody, it might be difficult sometimes right away. But point is that instruction is in the back of the mind, is there all the time. And when the right time comes, then, and when we become mature enough, then Krishna will guide us. Krishna will help us to go for it. That's the case in Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, of course, he was a Vaikuntha man. He was a pure, you see. But he had a situation with the family and all that, and it took a time. And when the right time happened, Krishna just gave him everything and just do it. So it requires a little bit also being patient, because sometimes we have a tendency to preach like, oh no, but this is the instruction, this is it, I'm gonna just do it. Wait a minute, yeah, you're gonna do it, but you have to be learn to be also patient. And yes, that instruction is there. So it will be nice to forcefully preach and say, this is it, this is the instruction again. No, that will not work in the people's lives. See, these are there. So that instruction is there. So everybody will act accordingly, should act accordingly, and of course that instruction is the basis of his life to go on in devotional service. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Okay. Anyone else before we move on?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This is Raghunandan Das. I have 2 points. Thank you for Bhadra Prabhu and Shubhavilas Prabhu and the other devotees that share so nicely all the points that are in the purport and amplifying the meaning of the purports. The first thing was in the translation itself, it says Sanda and Amarka approached the king of the demons and described the situation as it was. So it's a nice principle that they are following. They are going to the authority and explaining everything as it was. And when we are trying to practice devotional service, we are under the care of our guru, or we are under the care of our Siksha guru, mentor. It's a nice principle to follow even with them, that okay, I have this challenge or I have this situation in my life, and explain exactly as it is, being very open, honest and transparent with the authority. So that was a principle that I liked, and it reminded me an example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he launched his Sankirtan process, he called Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur and said, go to Navadvip, Mayapur and Navadvip area, and then go and knock on the door, each door, and request the people to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So these two personalities will go and do that, knock on every people's door and fall at their feet and request them to chant Krishna's names. And most importantly, at the end of the day, they will come back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's home and they will give a report on what happened that day. That's a very nice instruction. I felt like I could also imbibe and follow in my interactions with my Siksha gurus and my Diksha guru as well. And the other point is the kind of education that was being taught in the schools by Sanda and Amarka to these sons of the demons, which is not that different from what's going on in the name of modern education today in the schools. Because basically it's trying to give us some skills and some kind of an information on how we can exploit each other, how we can exploit material energy for my own advancement, for my own benefits and profits. So which was the same thing that was being done. The moment it is mentioned demoniac and all the things, we might imagine that, oh, it's something on the scale of an asura, but that is the kind of education they were being taught, how to exploit matter, material energy for my own advancement and enjoyment and pleasure and so on and so forth, which is no different from the modern education system that is being practiced all over the world today. Even India has taken to that since the independence, and we have lost our original education system and the knowledge and everything. And even many Indians nowadays, they disrespect their own culture and their own knowledge, even without even making an attempt to know what is being presented in the Vedic knowledge, blindly dismissing or rejecting it. In some cases, people might be just blindly accepting it and following it without even understanding anything. So all these are the perils of the modern education system, which was in those olden days, it was practiced by the asuras, but now practically everybody in the world is following the same education system, and that is a very tragic regression of human society. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Raghunandan. Thank you. I appreciate your points.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, Sudhir Prabhu, you want to read the next one?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Sorry, I was not able to unmute myself at that time. My phone went into lock mode. So, Hare Krishna devotees, and Pranam, our Sri Sri Prabhupada. Text number 3-4. Kopavesa chalat gatra putram hantam manodade ksiptva parusaya vacha praharadam atad arhanam aheksema papena tiraschinena chakshusu prasarvatam dantam bhattajanjalim avastitam sarpa padahata eva swasan prakriti durana. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When Hiranyakashipu understood the entire situation, he was extremely angry, so much so that his body trembled. Thus he finally decided to kill his son Prahlada. Hiranyakashipu was by nature very cruel, and feeling insulted, he began hissing like a snake trampled upon by someone's foot. His son Prahlada was peaceful, mild and gentle. His senses were under control, and he stood before Hiranyakashipu with folded hands. According to the Prahlad's age and behavior, he was not to be chastised. Yet, with staring crooked eyes, Hiranyakashipu rebuked him with the following harsh words. Purport: when one is impudent towards a highly authorized devotee, one is punished by the laws of nature. The duration of his life is diminished, and he loses the blessings of superior persons and the results of pious activities. Hiranyakashipu, for example, had achieved such a great power in the material world that he could subdue practically all the planetary systems in the universe, including the heavenly planets, Swargaloka. Yet now, because of his mistrement of such a Vaishnava as Prahlad Maharaj, all the results of his tapasya diminished, as stated in Srimad Bhagvatam 10.4.46. Ayu sriyam yasodharmam lokan esisa evacha hantri se hanti sriya masi sarvani pumso mahad atikrama. When one mistrust great souls, his lifespan, opulence, reputation, religion, possessions, and good fortune are all destroyed. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, wonderful verse here. So here, Hiranyakashipu kind of understood that, Prahlad Maharaja is not going to listen to him. So he became very cruel and very, very angry. So as we know, once the lust anger comes, they lose the intelligence. So here, even though Prahlad Maharaja was very small, like 5 years of age, it is stated that until 5 years, we have to treat children very carefully. But here, and also Prahlad Maharaja was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, and that was the reason, Hiranyakashipu was very, very angry. And I was actually listening to Radhesham Prabhu a few minutes ago. So Prabhuji was telling Vaishnava aparadha is the greatest aparadha. We should, even though there are many aparadhas, there might be some mistakes. Even Prabhuji was telling, even with other sampradayas also, we should never tell that, oh, our sampradaya is this, that, there is a mistake, because this Kali Yuga itself is an ocean of mistakes. So we should only take what is good from them and, try to, keep the faults within ourselves, because there might be many other faults within ourselves which we don't know. So Prabhuji was telling it's very, very dangerous to be doing aparadhas to the devotees. Whatever they have accumulated will go in a moment. Here also Srila Prabhupada is telling the same thing. For example, Hiranyakashipu here achieved, he did hundreds and thousands of years of tapasya, but due to the aparadha to a devotee, he lost all his opulence and all the material opulence also, because he is going to die soon. So we have seen how the devotees of Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, are very calm. Like we have seen so many cases, like Haridas Thakur, Narada Muni, or we can see so many examples like Shabri Mata. They were insulted so many ways, but they kept always, Indradumna Maharaj, Gajendra, so they kept their composure and always meditated upon the Lord. And with that, they don't have any kalmasha in their heart. They treat everyone, their enemy or friend, the same way. We see many verses in Bhagavad Gita also the same way. We should compose, even sometimes it will be hot, a cold, of course in this material life we have ACs and all, but at least the point is, even if it is a sorrow or a happy mood, we should not be bewildered, and just stick on to the Krishna consciousness given by Srila Prabhupada. That is my understanding. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So many wonderful points you shared. The contrasting nature of Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad is also reflected in this verse, which has been shared before also. When Hiranyakashipu, on one hand, he has everything in his control, the three worlds, but still his body is trembling, extremely angry, his hissing, cruel, feeling insulted. But on the contrary, Prahlad, mild, gentle, senses are controlled, mind is in control, and just standing peacefully there. So, which shows the power of his spiritual strength. On one hand, the person has everything but still trembling and unhappy and angry, and Prahlad has nothing, practically. Externally, he has nothing, but he has the biggest wealth. He has Lakshmipati with him. So, really, I like the contrast here. Okay, looks like someone wants to speak.
So, Vilas,
Yes, so
go through your notebook, and I think you had mentioned before there are 6 ways we can commit offenses at the feet of the Vaishnavas. Some is not welcoming. I think you had mentioned that before.
yes, so
Not welcoming, not. Can you repeat, because that is important. Because that's what sloka is about. To commit offense.
Yeah.
But how can we commit offense? If you can, I will appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. And actually, I never forget that because you gifted me a small book about overcoming Vaishnava aparadha, and that's where I learned that shloka from. So I'm so grateful to you because you were the one who kind of an instrument to help me learn that. Hanti nindati vaidveshti Vaishnavanam na binandati krudhyate api na harshan darshane patanani shat. Hanti means to kill. Killing a Vaishnava or trying to kill a Vaishnava. Hiranyakashipu, very famous example. There are multiple others also, but Hiranyakashipu's example is very famous, trying to kill. Hanti, ninda, to insult a devotee. So many examples are there. How what was his name? Ramchandra was always insulting. No, these devotees are overeating and they are just good for nothing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so many other examples are also there. Insulting a devotee. Hanti nindati vai dveshti, envy. Dvesh, irsha, jealousy, thinking I am better than others or pulling others down. Hanti nindati vai dveshti. Vaishnava na binandati. To not properly welcome. Or then the other is Hanti nindati vaidveshti. Hanti nindati vaidveshti Vaishnavanam na binandati krodhyate yopi na harshan. Krodh karna. To be angry upon someone, devotee especially. Krodhyate yopi na harshan darshan. And when we see devotees and we are not happy, that's also an aparadha as per that verse. Shat, these are the 6 types of offenses. There are multiple others also, but these are like the main which are mentioned in that verse.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks to you for you gave me that book. It's a small book, but very powerful. Any other comments or questions? Swati Mataji, you want to read next verse, please?
Yes, please. Text 5.
Hiranyakashipu vacha he durvinita mandanam kula beda karadam stabdam mat chasanodvitam nesti tvadyayamakshayam. Translation. Hiranyakashipu said, O most impudent, most unintelligent disruptor of the family, O lowest of mankind, you have violated my power to rule you, and therefore you are an obstinate fool. Today I shall send you to the place of Yamaraj. Purport. Hiranyakashipu condemned his Vaishnava son Prahlad for being durvinita, ungentle, uncivilized or impudent. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, however, has derived a meaning from this word durvinita by the mercy of goodness of learning Saraswati. He says that dur refers to this material world. This is confirmed by Lord Krishna in his instruction in Bhagavad Gita that this material world is dukkha, full of material conditions. V means Vishesha, specifically, and Nita means brought in. By the mercy of the Supreme Lord, Prahlad Maharaj was especially brought to this material world to teach people how to get out of the material condition. Lord Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya agla nirbhavati bharata. Bhagavad Gita 4.7. When the entire population or a part of it becomes forgetful of his own duty, Krishna comes. So when Krishna is not present, the devotee is present. But the mission is the same, to free the poor conditioned souls from the clutches of the Maya that chastise them. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur further explains that the word mandanam means manda, very bad or very slow in spiritual realization. As stated in Srimad Bhagvatam 1.1.10, Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya. Prahlad Maharaj is the guide of all the mandas or bad living entities who are under the influence of Maya. He is the benefactor even of the slow and the bad living entities in this material world. Kula Veda Karadama, by his actions. Prahlad Maharaj made great personalities who established big families seem insignificant. Everyone is interested in his own family and is making his dynasty famous. But Prahlad Maharaj was so liberal that he made no distinction between one living entity and another. Therefore, he was greater than the great Prajapatis who established their dynasties. The word Shabdam means obstinate. A devotee does not care for the instructions of the asuras. When they give instructions, he remains silent. A devotee cares about the instruction of Krishna, not of those of the demons or non-devotees. He does not give any respect to a demon, even though the demon be his father. Machashanodvitam. Prahlad Maharaj was disobedient to the orders of his demoniac father. Yamakshayam. Every conditioned soul is under the control of Yamaraj. But Hiranyakashipu said that he considered Prahlad Maharaj his deliverer. For Prahlad would stop Hiranyakashipu's repetition of birth and death. Because Prahlad Maharaj, being a great devotee, was better than any yogi, Hiranyakashipu was to be brought amongst the society of bhakti yogis. Thus, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti explained these words in a very interesting way, as they can be interpreted from the side of Saraswati, the mother of learning. Yes. So in this verse, it talks about how one, like the devotees, they always follow the Lord's instructions and not the Asura's instructions. So he only is very firm in following the instructions of the Lord and the Shastras. And Srila Prabhupada is quoting about from Shivnath Chakravarti's purport that he says, Prahlad Maharaj, he was he considered his he was delivering his father, even though his father used to consider that he was the ruler of the whole world, or he can control the whole world. So even Hiranyakashipu, but Prahlad Maharaj, being a devotee of the Lord, he could even deliver him from birth and death. So it is said by Yamaraj. Perhaps you can add. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So Hiranyakashipu is hissing like a snake, very, very angry. And externally the words he is using is also, what is in comes out. When one is in anger, completely full of anger, lost one's intelligence, nothing good comes in that situation. So he is using all sorts of bad words, calling him impudent, unintelligent, destroyer of the family, and violating my power, and you're just a nonsense, in short, obstinate fool. But our acharyas are so great, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they are giving such deeper meanings to these words. Again, without going in all the words, each word has the devotee specially comes to deliver the other conditioned souls. That's the meaning of Vinita, Vishesha. That's a special purpose. They don't come because they are also conditioned souls like us. Pure souls come because they want to help Krishna, and Krishna sends them for this special purpose in this Du, which is Dukhalyam. Du is Dukhalyam, V is Vishesha, and Nita is to come or brought in. Same Stabda, obstinate. Yes, we should become Stabda to the bad instructions, the bad thoughts, the bad association. We should act like a fool. Like Jad Bharat was acting like a fool when they were trying to, he was also acting like Stabda. That the Stabda basically means like still or obstinate. Jada also, similar synonym of Jada. Jada Bharat. Jadavat. So it's good to be obstinate to bad instructions. Because if we are obstinate in the sense, not like we start criticizing them or start, tit for tat mentality. Just say, okay, you know better, I'm fool. That's it. But to the good instructions, one should submissively take, like how Prahlad, we should not be obstinate to good instructions or good association. So each and every word Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving such a wonderful meaning. He was not the destroyer of the Kula, but actually he was the best amongst the Kula. But so all these words are actually glorifying the qualities of Prahlad Maharaj, that how he was such a great devotee with such super excellent qualities. But yeah. And Hiranyakashipu, let's look at from his side. In chapter number 6, the one before the instructions, or chapter number 5 rather, when Hiranyakashipu was trying to, 5 and 6 actually, to kill Prahlad. We have read in great detail the countless sarva upaya he had done to kill Prahlad. He had done all his upayas, all his ways, all his means he had employed to kill Prahlad. And what happened? He was in Virvichinta. He was in so much depression actually. Chinta. and what will happen to me in future. But now he has forgotten all that, and then again saying, oh, today you violated my power, you're a fool. He was lamenting of the same reason that I had used bad words. And you remember that the Shunishepa story we discussed, that the dog's tail, he will remember this. Now he has forgotten the reason behind his chinta, and again using bad words to Prahlad. Again he is trying to, today I will send you to Yamaraj, basically kill you. He had actually done everything to kill him. But anger makes one blind, anger makes one lose one intelligence, and this is the outcome. Rather than learning from the mistakes, he is repeating the same mistake. So you can learn the good aspect and the bad aspect, not to do the bad aspect, and to do more of the good side. So scriptures are teaching both, actually. Any other comments or questions before we pause today? Okay, thank you so much. We will stop here. It's time. Grantraj Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namah. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.